Alright. So, part 5 it is, right? Yep. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Alright, so last stream, basically Yuji and Yumiko just ran away from the latter's family and are now fugitives. On the run. Alright, so the forecast called for rain, but instead we're greeted with a clear and beautiful morning. Not that the weather outside has too much effect on our current lifestyle, especially in Yumiko's case. Are these all ones you finished already? I just showed a sizable pile of hardcover books sitting at Yumiko's bedside. Yeah, alright. I was just trying to remember when they're due back at the library. Yumiko's currently a fugitive of sorts. Naturally, that restricts her freedom of movement. She leaves the apartment mostly at night, when few pedestrians are around, and only when I've given her the all-clear. The vast majority of her time is spent indoors. But of course, she'd go crazy just sitting around in here all day long, so I take periodic trips to the library to borrow her large quantities of books. Were these any good? They were all very interesting reads, so I haven't felt bored all week. It doesn't sound like Yumiko is saying that just for my sake, probably her honest thoughts. That said, spending all this time alone must be a little rough emotionally. Yumiko was on her own more often than not, even when we were back in the dorm, but she had a cell phone, easy access to the internet, and above all else, boisterous friends who kept things lively. By comparison, she's only got one antisocial man for company in this cramped apartment, and he's not even around for most of the day. There aren't many chances for us to do much of anything together. Gotta start thinking about the next move pretty soon. We can't keep up this lifestyle forever. A decisive solution is going to be necessary. Not that I know what that's going to look like yet. I suppose there's no choice but to constantly observe the Sakaki family's movements and piece together a strategy. Cell phone in my breast pocket buzzes quietly only once. Ever since the kidnapping, it hasn't been doing much of that. There aren't many people who know the number. Most of them are back in the Mihama Academy dorm, and I told them in no uncertain terms not to call except in an outright emergency. Under these circumstances, there's only one plausible reason my phone would ring. Are you going out? Yumiko doesn't know who it's from or even that I received a message. Probably a bit disconcerting to see me get up so suddenly for no apparent reason, just for a while. Even so, at times like these, Yumiko never asks where I'm going or why. I guess that means she trusts me, but there's still a clear shadow of unease on her face. I'll be back in an hour or so. I want to know who called him. I mean, like, he's out of work, so I'm pretty sure JB's out of the question. Yeah, aside from maybe, like, one of the classmates back in Mihama. God knows how many miles away they are from them now. I got nothing else. Or maybe, like, his employer for his new job at this construction site? She must understand rationally I'll be back soon enough, but it's only natural to feel a little unsettled when your only connection to the outside world vanishes. Then I head into an alley. After 2 quick left turns, clamber over a rusty little gas meter and make my way down a shadowy lane to a dead end. This is a place I scouted out beforehand. It's a blind spot from pretty much any angle with very little risk of being overheard. I lean against the far wall, take one last careful look around, and finally take out my phone. Oh, so they still do talk. Never mind, JB's not out of the question then. Well, anything new on your end? JB's voice hasn't changed much since our escape. Same business-like tone as always. There's an oddly upbeat song playing in the background, though. I thought for a second they were talking about the music that's playing, like, from my speakers right now. Oddly upbeat. I thought they were talking about, like, what I'm listening to right now. I thought this was, like, some really, like, well-thought-out fourth wall break. No, I guess it's, like, the music coming from JB's stereo. I call this upbeat, but not in an odd sense. I don't know, I thought for some reason this was like a fourth wall break. There's upbeat song playing in the background, by the way. Duh, we can hear it. We're not exactly thriving, but at least we have our health. You really sound like an old man sometimes. Hasn't anyone at your shop said anything? Talk like someone your age, maybe? When did Ichigai start investing in mind-reading research? No paranormal skills were needed for that one. In any case, it seems you're cheerful enough to make stupid jokes. Not bad by fugitive standards. JB intersperses her retorts with a heavy, exasperated sighs. This incident, of course, has been an enormous nuisance for her as my boss. The case officer bears ultimate responsibility for their agent's actions. She's temporarily demoted until the matter is resolved, and they went so far as to set up an internal investigation to determine if she was conspiring with me. In the end, they decided to act alone and clear JB's name. That's the only reason she's even able to talk to me like this. Of course, I'm still using my untraceable phone with this encrypted connection for these chats. To be honest, a few hours of groveling at her feet wouldn't cut it at this point, but there's no point worrying about paying her back until I stop running up the tab. Getting the hang of this manual labor thing. Anyway, to what do I owe the pleasure? It's the usual attempt to talk you out of this. There's no point in dragging this out forever. You'd be wise to turn yourself in before things get rough. A tempting suggestion, but unfortunately I'm otherwise engaged at the moment. Should have made your offer earlier. We can take care of cancelling your other contract. Sorry, but I'm not a big fan of changing courses midstream. Let's just drop the subject, shall we? What about the cactus you left behind in your room? I'm thinking I might be getting a little worm-eaten right about now. What's wrong? Nothing. Leave the cactus alone. I'm pretty sure it's insect-free. If you say so. Give me a ring anytime you happen to have a change of heart on the previous matter. Bye now. Flip the cell phone shut. No movements at present, eh? The main meaning of that formulaic conversation lay in the music playing in the background. We have a simple system where the genre of song communicates some basic information. Today it was a bossa nova Hawaiian beat arrangement. Meaning Ichigai search continuing with, okay, so... I'm guessing this is not the so-called bossa nova Hawaiian beat that's playing, like, that's playing right now from my speakers. Yeah, as much as I really just want to, like, believe it was a fourth wall break, I mean, I would feel really fucking out of place in, like, a visual novel like this. Where a lot of the time it's pretty damn serious, and then just out of nowhere, a fourth wall break. Now that their name's been cleared, she's probably no longer under surveillance. But JB's a straight-laced military type with a powerful respect for authority. She's not capable of casually leaking me detailed information, so instead, she gives me small hints using this sort of indirect method. Really, I'm due for one hell of a marathon groveling session when this is all over. Seriously though, JB, what kind of a question was that? Her casual query about my cactus at the end took me by surprise. I've never owned such a plant in my life. It was a clear reference to the prickly individual currently sharing my room. And as for worm-eaten, that should go without saying. Wouldn't be too strange to interpret it that way. Whatever the circumstances may be, I'm a man and Yumiko's a woman. We ran away hand in hand, we're living together. It's not hard to see why someone might imagine something along those lines. Oh, so is she, like, thinking that they fucked already by now? I don't know, is that my guess with the worm and the cactus? I'm guessing they just had sex, like, and obviously the sex scene's gonna get skipped because I'm playing the Steam version. You gotta be, like, 18 plus for those, not 17 plus. Yeah, 17 plus for the rest of the game, for like, those few parts, you gotta be 18. Okay. Still, the matter of fact is, nothing's happened between us. It's questionable whether Yumiko's interested in being eaten by anyone, or more fundamentally, I don't have a clear sense of how she feels about me. At the very least, I think she trusts me. Thanks to JB's unnecessary prying, I've got a new question weighing slightly on my mind. The room's silent except for the irregular clacking of our chopsticks. Yumiko's never been the type to chatter on and on while she eats. In fact, she seems to make an effort to be as quiet as possible at the table. Something to do with a good breeding of hers. I tend not to talk much during meals myself, but today my silence is deliberate. Focusing my thoughts on the matter from this afternoon. What exactly does Yumiko think of me? It's like something a middle schooler would be worrying about. That said, considering our very intimate living circumstances, the presence or absence of romantic feelings is a serious matter. If I jump to a mistaken conclusion, I could end up making Yumiko deeply uncomfortable in the one refuge she has left. I need to proceed very carefully. Still, I guess it couldn't hurt to ask. Something I'm wondering about tangentially related to the question at hand seems like a good place to begin. Hey Yumiko. Why are you still using my last name? Yumiko's chopsticks stopped dead midair, her pupils shrinking suddenly inside wide-open eyes. Huh? Just wondering why you've never called me Yuji. I'm consistently using the intimate first name with Yumiko, but she's still going with Kazami-kun. Is that an implicit signal to try... not to try and get any closer? Does it have some other meaning? Knowing it might give me an answer to the more sensitive question I've been pondering. Unfortunately, Yumiko appears to have frozen solid. For a good 5 seconds, she just stares at me. Finally, as if remembering to move, she begins to flop her mouth slightly open and close like a goldfish. That's really cute, keep doing it. Words that finally emerge from her mouth are far from the conclusive reply I was hoping for. It's just, yeah, that really doesn't say anything. Not quite ready for... No, well, She vagles, she mumbles, she vagles. She mumbles vague non-answers. Why do you ask? That really came out of nowhere. Yumiko abruptly pivots to a question of her own in an attempt to regain control of the conversation. Being honest with her at this point probably be a mistake. No reason in particular, just a little curious. What's wrong? Were you expecting something else? Not particularly, that's how it always is with you. Yumiko's slightly flushed face pulls back to its original distance. Her expression changing to one of restrained anger. The omelet she was fiddling with has been thoroughly dissected into a few miserable yellow chunks. And in the end, it didn't even get an answer to my question. That reaction was just too ambiguous. From one angle, it looks like Yumiko is actively hiding feelings from me. Or deflecting my interests. To be perfectly honest, I'm not the most perceptive man alive when it comes to these matters. Analyzing Yumiko's feelings based off that conversation is far beyond my meager capabilities. Quietly slurping down my miso soup, I glance over at the young woman in question. She's still got an irritable expression on her face. Don't quite understand the thought process, but if she's displeased with me for trying to upset the status quo, I guess she isn't interested for the moment. That night, even after turning out the lights, so on and so forth, I couldn't fall asleep. Yumiko sleeping by my side as always, but as I watched, her regular, peaceful breathing begins to change slightly. Every once in a while, Yumiko grimaces and moans softly in her sleep. Might be some sort of nightmare. Sometimes it sounds like she's trying to speak. Although the words aren't intelligible. Don't worry, Yumiko. Her expression seems to soften a little. Maybe the words brought her some relief. My own feelings have been an open question to me for some time. But as I look down at Yumiko's face, I can feel something like an answer emerge. The girl's definitely special to me. That vague desire to keep her safe has grown into something personal and affectionate. But that doesn't mean I'm going to push her to return my feelings. Answering them or ignoring them is just one of the many freedoms Yumiko's finally managed to gain. JB's malicious provocation nearly drove me astray, but originally I hadn't even considered the possibility of making a move. Still, who knows what might happen down the road. If the two of us stay together, I'll probably get an answer to these feelings eventually. I want to put an end to this fugitive lifestyle as soon as possible. There's no need for us to rush when it comes to figuring out our relationship. We trust each other, that should be enough for now. But not long thereafter, events took an abrupt and somewhat unexpected turn. Human beings don't act on the basis of reason alone. Soon I would gain a new appreciation for that undeniable fact. There's a break-in, or... Desires are... Oh! Okay, so I guess no one's breaking in right now? I would really hope not. Desires are a natural part of life. That line of text in this music, though, makes me think they are actually going to be, well, doing it. We're probably just gonna get, like, maybe some, like, vague descriptions of, like, what's going on in the bed, and that's it. A whole range of secondary urges are at least possible to endure. Sexual desire is often the strongest among these. As a fairly typical example of the male gender, I got a fair amount of lust to go around myself. My previous employer actually went out of their way to provide us ways to scratch this particular itch. However, when it comes to the female sex drive, my knowledge is somewhat spotty. The song said that men and women experience the same sexual urges. Begin with puberty in very different ways. I've interacted with a number of females who seem, at a glance, completely lacking in such desires. Sakaki Yumiko would be one such case in point. We've been living in one room for months now, spreading out our bedding only a few feet away from each other. But nonetheless, she's given every indication of viewing me as a part of the furniture, rather than a member of the opposite sex. It had been a long day on the job. After dinner, I went to bed a little earlier than usual. Yumiko didn't have anything to do either, so she fell asleep. So, did they do it or not? Although Yumiko is already breathing quietly a few feet away, it's proving very difficult to nod off myself. After a while, I just close my eyes and pretend to sleep. Pretty confident I have trouble sleeping, and sometimes this helps. No reason to disturb Yumiko by tossing and turning around either. But the young woman in question abruptly sits up, pulls back her blanket, and walks quickly off towards the bathroom. Returns quietly to the bedroom only a minute or so later, waiting for the sound of her slipping back into her futon, which doesn't seem to be happening. What's this? For some reason, Yumiko doesn't seem too eager to get back in bed. I open one eye just a crack. She's standing expressionless in between our futons, staring fixedly down at me. He's sleeping, isn't he? He lowers herself. Yumiko quietly lowers herself to the ground next to me, her legs splaying out to one side. What's this girl thinking? I decide to keep breathing softly and allow her to think I'm unconscious. Hypothetically, if she viewed me as an enemy or some grudge, this could be interpreted as the preliminary stage of an assassination attempt. I'm confident that's not the case right now. Yumiko definitely trusts me. That said, we're talking about a woman who tried to slap me in the face the first day we met, and spent a good amount of time attempting to stab me. That's in the past now, but she's definitely prone to expressing herself in violent ways. Just to be on the safe side, I focus my attention on Yumiko without opening my eyes and wait alertly for her next movement. However, what comes next takes me by surprise. Yumiko swallows audibly, holds her breath, and something supple touches my lips. For a moment, I think it might be her finger, but there's no way it would feel quite this soft. Instantly, I feel her breath on my nose. I realize she's pressing her lips against mine. A sweet, distinctive scent tickles the inside of my nose. What the? Seriously? Ah, crap. Unfortunately, I can't keep my lips from twitching a little. Yumiko instantly jerks back. He moved, even though he's asleep. I don't know what she was thinking, but she's frightened enough to cut things off here. It's fine by me. Hopefully I'll be able to fall asleep soon. But what, again? Once again, Yumiko presses her mouth against mine. And this time she's a lot bolder about it. What is she thinking? Considering how things have been until now, this is just incomprehensible. I mean, if this were, say, Amane... Man, look at Yuji sleeping all peacefully. Brace yourself. Big Sis is gonna make sure you have some real nice dreams. Would be the thought process, but right now we're talking about Yumiko. I start to imagine she's got that sort of a sadistic streak, so why is she doing this? Maybe she's just curious? After months of living together intimately with a member of the opposite gender, Yumiko's developed an interest in sex. But those subjects too awkward to discuss, so she decides to try some furtive exploration. At least I hope it's true. Considering how badly Yumiko's unhappy past has weighed her down, seeing her act in such a human way would be something to celebrate. Might be a sign she's starting to break out of that defensive shell. Even as I'm pondering these matters, the girl continues to mash her mouth against mine in an increasingly ardent fashion. Guess I got no choice but to call things to a halt somehow. Yumiko presumably believes I'm asleep and oblivious, but keeping up that charade at this point might give her the wrong idea. Normally speaking, anyone except the deepest of deep sleepers are going to wake up when someone's kissing them this intensely. I feel bad about interrupting, but for her sake and mine, the girl needs to learn she's playing with fire. And then I reluctantly take action. In order to defend my dignity, educate Yumiko, and prevent any unfortunate physical reactions. Cut it out. Turning my face away from Yumiko, I forcibly tear her lips apart. Yeah. Flinching with shock, Yumiko jumps away from me. Her eyes open to perfect circles as it finally dawns on her she's taken things too far. That's Yuji's idea of taking things too far? Her mouth's trembling uncontrollably. It's a pretty pitiful spectacle. She looks down at me with an uncharacteristic expression of absolute code terror or cow terror. Waiting to see how I'll respond to discovering her misdeed. Cut it out, Julia. Using every ounce of acting ability I possess, I continue mumbling in a sleep-addled voice. Was that on purpose or by accident? He literally just fucking called her the wrong name. Seriously, Julia, save it for when we're awake, alright? I repeat the name clearly, make sure Yumiko catches it. Oh, so it is. Oh, so it's on purpose. And then I very obviously fall back asleep or pretend to. It was a pretty crappy performance by any standard, but... What the? I'm not Julia! Did I get away with it? That's right, he clearly didn't think it was me. So... I thought it was more convenient for Yumiko to believe I was talking in my sleep, so she accepts my charade. I can hear her let out a short sigh, but it sounds like profound relief. It's obvious how shaken up she was by the experience. I can't help but feel a little guilty. But still, I had no idea Yumiko was interested in this sort of thing. Once I get in there. Actually, not gonna lie, that's pretty brilliant. Just trick her into thinking that, like, I don't know, like he was just dozing off and thinking about someone else kissing him for some reason. I guess try and make her feel less bad about, just deciding he didn't want to, like, keep kissing her. I guess not to offend her or something, but, like... I mean, like, come on. She's right in front of you. How can you say no? Like, she pretty clearly likes you. Guess it might be time to think about her needs as well. Guess this warrants a slight change in the status quo. Tomorrow I'll find the right moment to bring up the matter openly. No more indirect nosing around. It's an extremely dangerous gamble, but I also stand to gain a clear answer to that unresolved question from a few days ago. Yumiko lets out a sigh overflowing with ennui and burrows back under the covers of her bed. Sorry, Yumiko, and while I'm at it, sorry, Julia. The few words of apology to my roommate and the long-suffering superior I just slandered unjustly returned to my faint sleep. The next morning. I wake up as if nothing happened and prepare breakfast for myself and Yumiko. I'm off from work today, so there's no need to get up at the crack of dawn. Decided it would be best to create an opportunity for the two of us to talk as quickly as possible. Hey. No doubt thanks to her emotionally draining that Yumiko seems a little languid this morning. She totters off drowsily towards the washroom and proceeds to splash water on her face for a while. Seems perfectly at me. At me. At ease. Not a hint of tension in the air. In other words, she's convinced herself I'm unaware of the incident last night. Awfully carefree, aren't we? Thank you for the food. Let's eat. Just as always, they eat salmon, I guess. Should I really say it? Still more than hesitant. When a man and a woman live together without a clearly defined relationship, it's not surprising that tensions of this nature might arise. It'd be short-sighted to pretend last night never happened. I want to clear the air, and Yumiko is feeling some subtle awkwardness and guilt herself. That said, the last thing I need is for this to turn into some overblown drama. I think this calls for a very natural, casual approach. I choose my words carefully, aiming to keep this a light breakfast table chat. Hey, Yumiko. You kissed me in my sleep last night, didn't you? She promptly chokes on her soup and begins coughing violently. Where on earth did that come from? I was thinking this might go smoother if I brought it up casually during a meal, but it seems that didn't work out so well. Poor girl started choking on her food the moment you asked her that. Of course not. Anyway, what's that ridiculous accusation? Are you mocking me? Yumiko flat out denies the truth in a desperate attempt to retroactively undo her folly. This isn't good. She seems to be getting somewhat emotional. But since I've broached the subject, I can't allow her to squirm out of the discussion. Stealing my nerves, I push bluntly forward. Sorry, but I was awake the whole time. What are you talking about? I did no such thing. A little after 11 last night, wasn't it? Lasted about 10 or 15 minutes after you came back from the bathroom. Yumiko quickly falters under my skeptical gaze. Yes, maybe I did. She finally owns up to her misdeed. Maybe I did. That was just because it looked like you weren't breathing. I was worried and I leaned in close to check and, well... Completely flustered, she begins babbling incoherently. Not that incoherent, to be honest, if you ask me. I don't know, maybe it sounds like she could have just, like... Well, she could have, like, maybe been trying to do CPR. In case, I don't know, maybe died in his sleep or something. I mean, you have to, like, do mouth-to-mouth, pretty sure. It's not, I think that's, like, the first thing you do for CPR, mouth-to-mouth. I'm tempted to ask if her conception of CPR is limited to repeatedly kissing someone, but this isn't the time to mock the girl. I stare Yumiko straight in the eyes and gravely lower my head in apology. My apologies for not realizing sooner. Yumiko, it's not an excuse, but I had genuinely no idea you were so sexually frustrated. I bought into the stereotypes about women having lower libidos. Convinced myself Amani was just an exception to the rule. Hold on. Stop! Stop! Waving her arms about to signal a halt, Yumiko interrupts in an agitated tone of voice. Please don't tell me you think I did that because I'm sexually frustrated. From an objective point of view, I think it's the most plausible explanation. When someone who hasn't expressed any clear feelings for you suddenly makes that aggressive a move. Not sure what other conclusion there is to draw. But as I'm reviewing my reasoning, Yumiko's expression grows increasingly sour. I knew it. You haven't realized anything at all. In the next moment, Yumiko's body begins to tremble with something that seems suspiciously akin to rage. Hey, follow-up question. Was I just incredibly rude to you by any chance? Yes, you certainly were. I'm about ready to whip out you-know-what for the first time in a while. Come to think of it, we left that box cutter of hers behind when we ran away. Since Yumiko remembered that thing, it's clear she's abnormally furious. And it's equally obvious where that anger's coming from. My cluelessness drove her straight to a corner. I step towards Yumiko and wrap my arms around her without a word. Sorry, my bad. Seriously. As I embrace her and apologize, she finally begins to settle down a little. I didn't bring this up because I want to mock you for having a healthy interest in the opposite sex, Yumiko. Really? Wasn't sure if you had feelings for me, so I honestly didn't know what to do until now. Yeah, finally got my answer. Yumiko's been hiding romantic feelings from me. I just wasn't observant enough to see them. My well-intentioned watch and wait policy ended up driving her to this humiliating moment. I'm disgracing myself as a man. Since I finally understand, there's no reason for me to keep hesitating. Pulling slightly away from Yumiko's body, I stare straight down to her face. Yumiko, I love you. I want to make you happy. I also want to sleep with you. Sound like a plan? I also want to sleep with you. Ow! And proceeds to slap me lightly on the cheek. Honestly, you're completely ridiculous. She's not crying or scowling, but there's a distinctly disgruntled expression on her face. First you barrage me with rude nonsense out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it's, I love you, I want to sleep with you? How do you not give yourself whiplash? My apologies. You really don't play fair. You just sat there and did nothing, waiting for me to make the first move. Coward. My sincerest apologies. I swear. At last, a mildly exasperated smile spreads across Yumiko's face. You're the only thing I have left now. And she reaches out once more, this time to offer me her hand. I take it and gently pull her body forward to lean against mine. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm willing. Right. I feel the weight once again. Compared to when she's standing normally, holding Yumiko's slender body in my arms like this makes her seem extremely small. But inside that body, she's carrying all the loneliness of her past and uncertainty of her present. The more I think about it, the more absurdly heavy she feels. I'm ready for this. I wouldn't have been living with her in the first place for months if I wasn't. Still, I'm crossing a very serious line here, all the more so given her situation. Okay, then relax and leave everything to me. Her voice conveys simple, absolute trust. That too adds the weight to my shoulders. It's been a few hours since then. Having dressed herself and brushed her hair, Yumiko's currently wandering restlessly around the room, groaning at no one in particular. The girl's unusual composure seems to have deserted her entirely. Oh, physicist! Yeah, so good news. I'm like, I don't know, like 95% sure we gotta be like at least like halfway through the Yumiko route at this point. I mean, like, the two already just, like, ran off somewhere, like, an hour away from Tokyo. Still not even 100% sure. I didn't even bother checking to see, like, how far away relative to Mahama Academy they are now, but... yeah, just going, like, all those places in a stolen Lamborghini at, like, 300, like, kilometers an hour, they definitely have to have traveled far. Yeah, so something like that would have to be, like, at least, like, half the route done. I mean, when Yuji, like, took... yeah, when Yuji took Makina with him to run away, like, that was also, like, more than halfway through that route as well. Can you try and calm down already? This isn't like you? Yup, exactly. What on earth am I saying? Having dug her own grave and then buried herself in it, Yumiko laments loudly. It's a pretty charming spectacle, but at this rate, I don't know if she'll ever get a hold of herself. Alright, maybe this will help you settle down a little? Okay, what kind of calendar is this? Like, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th? What kind of calendar is this? 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th? What kind of calendar is this on the right side here, anyways? I'm not asking about, like, the girl or the guy on top of the girl. I'm just, like, looking at the calendar right now, like... This calendar just skips straight from 3 to 5 and 10 to 12. Pulling Yumiko into my arms, I brush her hair back and press my lips against hers. Unless maybe in Japan the calendars are supposed to look like that, but... I don't know. Looks weird. When I release my hold on her face, the girl blinks up at me for a moment, then grows abruptly bashful. Blushing from ear to ear, Yumiko tries to hide her face behind one hand. I'm not exactly the world's foremost connoisseur of cuteness, but this transformation is just too extreme. The sugar rush leaves me a little dizzy. That was quick? I mean, if I was playing the 18+ version, there's no way it would have been that quick. Probably, I don't know, maybe spent like another 30 minutes or so just watching them do it. Still not quite convinced they're true, apparently. Pretty unbelievable considering where we started out. At first our communication was limited to slaps to the face and slashes with a blade, and before you know it we've ended up here. I guess you could just shrug your shoulders and call it fate. Chance and coincidence did play a large part. Even so, I can't help but feel this all happened for a reason. Hey, Yumiko? I hug Yumiko again, much more tightly than before, and stroke one hand slowly down through her long hair. Let me say it again, I'm gonna keep you safe no matter what, that's a promise. I'll be where you are, I won't leave you alone. Sakaki Yumiko was always on her own, always isolated. Alright, we get it. Gaining something new after all that time alone was bewildering. When the fog cleared and she realized what she wanted, it almost frightened her. She didn't know what to do. That's why I need to make this crystal clear. Not just to protect you, but to be with you. Have anything to say to that? Yes. Thank you. That's what I was hoping for. No need for apologies anymore. The only thing Yumiko and I need to give to each other now is gratitude. Now that we have that settled, let's fix that Kazami-kun of yours immediately. What? You heard me. It'd be pretty damn weird to keep calling me by my last name at this point, don't you think? This is too sudden. I need time to prepare myself. How long is that gonna take? Then breathes in deeply. After a moment, as if to steel herself. I understand. I'll use your first name from now on. Let's hear it. Once again, the girl takes a deep breath. This time she begins mumbling softly to herself like a nervous middle school student preparing to recite pi from memory. What does that got to do with it? 3.141596. Is 6 after 5? 3.14159? And then, I don't know what comes after that. I don't remember what comes after that. And then a barely audible murmur. The instant the word squeaks out of Yumiko's mouth, her face appears to burst into flame. I'm not used to calling you that, so it's embarrassing, alright? This contrast is really something. I think I'm embarrassed by proxy. In any case, all my points of concern regarding our relationship have now been decisively resolved. We're still fugitives with an uncertain future, but somehow I think we gain a little peace of mind. What's wrong? Didn't you say you were awake the whole time last night? Is there something else? Before I can even finish the sentence, Yumiko's thin fingers dig into my arm in a vicious pinch. Ow! Would you mind explaining the details of your history with Haradera-san? Oh, shit! Say what? There's a story there, yes? There's no way you just came up with that on the spur of the moment. Yumiko's unexpected night raid helped us understand each other's feelings. It was a truly fortunate event in that respect. But from that day on, I found myself sitting on my heels in penance every afternoon, enduring interrogations into my previous romantic career. I think I saw like at least 1 or 2 thumbnails on X videos where Yuji and Julia... Okay, so like I think I've seen at least 1 or 2 videos, or at least video thumbnails there, where Yuji and JB have actually done it, so... Like, I'm like dead certain there is like romantic history between the two in some sense. Unless maybe those took place after the events of, well, Fruit of Grisaia or something. I don't know, it's gonna maybe taken place like after the events of this. I mean, I said this like on a prior live stream, and but I guess I'll just say it again. There is this long-ass list of people that Yuji is quote-unquote fucked. Whether it be, like, canon or not. Yeah, apparently, like, on that is Amane's entire basketball team. Who, like, were, like, dead before, like, Yuji even made it to Mahama Academy, so... Yeah, before Yuji even knew who Amane was, like... They were already all dead, so there's no way that could be canon, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, first time he really met her was, like, at Mahama Academy, and this was, like, long after, like, everyone else but Amane, like, just died down there in the valley. So this concludes the reports from all the detective agencies and investigation firms currently in our employ. The sphere of investigation has now spread from Kanto and Tokai to include the Kinki region. But as of yet, they haven't found anything that qualifies a definite clue. I'm sorry, Kinki region. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, it makes perfect sense in Japanese. Pretty sure that's a perfectly reasonable name in Japanese. Kinki. I'm presently in the process of contacting all parties involved, and instructing them to redouble their efforts. Would you like to add anything? Ask them. What? I have no need for incompetents who can't find a single lead after months of trying. Show them the door. I don't care how much money it takes. This time, get me someone who knows what they're doing. I want those 2 found, you understand me? Yes, please excuse me. Been half a year now, hasn't it? It's hardly worth asking, but has your investigation made any progress? Sorry to say we haven't found any real clues. Pretty pathetic to have your own pet dog give you the slip. He's disappeared so completely, I'm almost tempted to conclude you people might be guiding him behind the scenes. Sakaki, we've already carried out thorough internal investigation has cleared you of all suspicion. Yes, I suppose we have little choice but to trust that evaluation. Anything else? Yuji and Yumiko have destroyed their personal cell phones. Hypothetically, if we were to make contact with you, it would likely be through a public telephone, should you receive any suspicious calls. This is from the Osaka branch office, excuse me for a moment. You think it wasn't possible is an option? Kneel down in front of the man's house. I don't care what you have to do, get me a clear commitment. Fuck? Kneel down in front of the man's house? This sounds like the beginning of a BDSM routine. The entire structure is going to crumble unless we get that crafty old bastard on our side. Use the money in your damn brain. Why do you think I hand you that wallet? Get a move on! Please be on the lookout for any attempted contact. I suppose I'll be on my way. Anything else you'd like to say? Nothing at all. For some reason, as we get close to the general meeting, there's been a good deal of suspicious movement in my vicinity. There's no point scuttling around behind the scenes, you know. We're not idiots over here. I'll know immediately if you try anything. Sorry, but what exactly are you referring to? Feel free to play dumb. Just keep in mind that we'll respond to any kind of obvious meddling. Excuse me. No one's going to take this away from me. No one. Not sure how many times I need to say this before you get the message. I'm not planning to give myself up. That's unfortunate. Once again, classical playing in the background today. The volume seems slightly louder than usual. There's no immediate danger approaching, but a good deal of caution is warranted. A comparatively calm state of affairs. Of course, it's never wise to feel completely at ease when you're on the run, but the lack of urgent problems does soften the psychological pressure a bit. How are you doing out there? Eating proper meals? You're taking care of yourself, right? Yeah, no problems worth mentioning. Sounds like a conversation between a college student in the big city and an anxious helicopter mom. Then again, I guess I'm something of a pseudo-son to JB. So there's nothing inherently strange about her worrying about me. It's just more than a little comical under the circumstances. Of course, it's a necessary part of our carefully choreographed give and take of information, but still. That reminds me, I got something to report, JB. I bought another cactus in my room over here, but a worm got at it right away. Got a little worried there for a while. Seems like they're actually capable of coexisting, though. Something wrong? That's nice. I think it's only natural. Yeah. No reason to hide it either. Yada yada. Cactus in question is no doubt waiting eagerly for the return of its worm. More thing before you hang up, if that's alright. Coexistence is a lovely thing, just be careful about those spines. The cactus may not intend any harm, but don't forget it's a thorny, twisted little thing by nature. That's some way to talk about the poor plant. I doubt you've forgotten, but you're a fugitive. Try to keep that in mind. Goodbye. I'm aware, thanks. It's going to be very difficult to maintain this peaceful balance for much longer. But for the moment, for Yumiko's sake and mine, I don't want to be too conscious of that. Change is constant and ever-present. Time moves us forward, whether we like it or not. We bump into other people, unpredictable external factors that knock us off course. Our thoughts, our environment, our place in the world, even our ideology, everything shifts. And even in a world that's defined by change, human relationships are about as astonishingly volatile as it gets. We go from life to death, family to strangers, strangers to family. We meet and part, make allies and enemies, crown winners and mark losers. Some gain independence while others sink into servitude. Some submit and some rebel. Goodwill can change to hatred in the blink of an eye, and hatred to goodwill. Sometimes people fight for their best friends to the death in a struggle for power. Sometimes people sell their family for trivial sums of money. Sometimes the subordinate, who's been treated like a dog, launches a coup d'etat. Sometimes the dictator finds himself groveling like a worm before his old throne. I've seen it all. In the scope of things, the case of Kazami Yuji and Sakaki Yumiko isn't anything out of the ordinary, but the last few months have certainly been full of changes. We started off as strangers, then mortal enemies, wary doormates, the daughter of a client and the representative of a certain company, a guard and his principal, co-conspirators and fugitives, and now a man and a woman. It was a pretty tangled road that brought us here. As to where to lead us next, who the hell knows? Certainly not the two people traveling it together. As I've actually grown comfortable in my job, free time's gotten harder to come by. I've been attempting to do my work quietly and keep my head down, but it seems that's a rare trait among youngsters these days. Earning me unintended recognition from my superiors. I ended up being promoted to the supervisor of a small work team with 5 to 6 men. Normally this would be something worth celebrating, but right now the goal is not to stand out, even in good ways. We may have to consider moving to a different location if I start getting too far ahead in life, despite myself. My few days off are often spent on chores and housework. It's mainly cleaning and washing, stockpiling basic preservable food, and investigating the areas of precaution for the worst case scenario. Lots of housewife-style labor except for the last one. Yumiko helps out as well, of course, but the girl had a pretty sheltered upbringing. I'm getting the idea that she isn't naturally dexterous either. Even pretty simple jobs tend to give her some trouble. In any case, we began our work early in the morning today, according to routine. It was roughly 2 in the afternoon by the time we're finished. Yumiko, what? Is that book really that interesting? And I inquire about the novel she's been reading intently. What about that map of yours? I think the reason for that should be pretty obvious. I suppose. I'm going over our potential escape routes in case of emergency. Hard to say how practically useful repeatedly reviewing this will prove. It's gotta be better than doing nothing at all. Currently, we've nestled ourselves down in the home turf of the West Tsutomu Railway Company, a bitter enemy of the East Beach Group since the pre-war era. It's safe to say Sakaki Michiaki won't be openly looking for cooperation in resolving his family squabble. He's not eager to show corporate rivals any sign of weakness. East Beach will tread lightly around here. This low-lying area of eastern Tokyo is particularly dense and tangled, and we're keeping a very low profile. I doubt private detectives will be able to track us down that easily. But since this location's ideal, it might stand out as a possibility to a competent investigator. Tracing a number of lines along our escape routes, I picture the movements of enemies who haven't yet materialized. That's so. I thought I saw you smiling a little, though. Couldn't help it. The mystery was too ridiculous. I knew the criminal from the moment they appeared. That's impressive. I'm not under the illusion I completely understand Yumiko just because we're in a relationship now, but I didn't think her instincts were that good. You just said it was ridiculous, didn't you? Or is the book more suitable for general audiences? Not sure you decided I'm outside that category, but it's a very well-constructed novel. It's just that if I spent money to purchase it, I probably would have hurled it at a wall by now. What are you talking about? Instead of a response, she silently pushes the open book out in front of my face. There's a very neat line under the name of a character who's just made their entrance. It leads to a note, reading criminal. Guess that's how it goes with library books sometimes. Still, what a nasty little prank to pull. Okay, so it's not like the novel that basically just was so poorly written that just spoiled the surprise too early on, like some jackass in the library just basically just said, that's the criminal. Same guy the same kind of guy who just randomly pop out into your live stream just to say, like, I don't know, if you're playing DDLC, Sayori hangs herself, Yuri stabs herself, Natsuki breaks her neck, Monica deletes everything. Yeah, I'm so fucking thankful that was on my second playthrough of DDLC that happened. I got to experience it. I got to experience, like, all the shock, like, blind on my first playthrough. Including the guy who just came into my chat to say, noise, a corpse can't say no. Like, bruh, she can't say yes either. Hardly anything for you to apologize for, isn't it? I should have flipped through it first, but the book had a pretty good reputation. So I figured it'd be alright. I won't make the same mistake again, promise. I don't get it. Something to say? Actually looking for the reputation and all that? Might as well read something decent if you're gonna read, right? If only you're so considerate about other things. Like what? Never mind. You sure you're not enjoying that book?
どうして
Why do you keep asking? No reason. Honestly, it's because she seems to be in a good mood for some reason. Maybe that note was actually a prank or red herring and you just hit some clever twist in the plot you never saw coming?
まさか
Oh please, my review would begin with a yawn followed by a sigh.
その次
Thought you said it wasn't bad?
だ
This is my second time
2
through it.
週目だもん
Not much point hunting for foreshadowing then. In that case, what is she enjoying so much? I don't get it at all. While we're talking, mind if I make one small observation?
何が
Wasn't sure whether I should mention this, but you're weighing me down, Yumiko, in a physical sense. Yumiko's been using my lap as a reading chair for quite some time now. I'm just not talking about today either. Ever since our physical relationship began, she's made a habit of unceremoniously plopping herself down on top of me to read her books. Not bothering to ask for permission first. Come to think of it, I suppose this would be the only thing that's really changed about our daily routine after we made love. Yumiko wasn't quite satisfied with the explanation I offered regarding my romantic history, so I've been quietly letting her do as she pleases, but this seemed like a good opportunity to finally say something.
我慢して
Put up with it. Alright. Hey. Yeah? Is it a bother after all? Is what a bother that I'm doing this?
こうしていること
But later, Yumiko's haughty expression gives way to something a great deal more uneasy. Doesn't bother me.
だって
But you just said I'm heavy, didn't you?
重いって言ったじゃない
I was thinking it might be a good opportunity to ask why you're always sitting on me. Kind of think of it, I guess it actually does feel a little pleasant if anything. Really? Yeah.
本当に
Really, really? Yes, really. This childish line of questioning prompts a sudden realization. I thought you'd been laying on the overbearing attitude a little thick lately. Maybe you're just trying to hide your embarrassment? The girl doesn't respond, but her face makes me think I might have hit the bullseye. So then, Yumiko's been bluffing all this time, acting confident to cover up her timidity, watching my actions out of the corner of her eye. Secretly swinging back and forth between happiness and fear. By the time I've got my thoughts this far, I'm already petting Yumiko's head. Sorry about that. Determined to give the charming little coward some reassurance, I ignore her abashed expression and repeat the motion. Yuchi. Whoa! What's wrong? First time you called me that in a while. That day I made one request of Yumiko. She'd become an irreplaceable individual to me, so I asked her to use my first name just as I use hers. Yumiko hasn't called me Kazami-kun since then, but I guess the alternative still felt a little awkward. She's mostly dodged the issue by using pronouns. Of course Yuji has hair and pronouns. Yeah, he's got hair and pronouns, of course. Wasn't really upset or anything, but I have to admit it made me feel a little lonesome at times.
ちゃんと
So you actually noticed? Was it deliberate?
だって
Might have
もしあ
been...
の時の勢いだけ
Might have just gotten carried away back then. I was afraid you'd grimace at me if I had tried it after things were back to normal. You really think I'd do something that cruel?
私といる時
You didn't have any problems about talking about other women in front of me. My apologies, you're right, I'm a heartless monster. Can't believe I didn't even notice how much all of this was bothering her. In retrospect, maybe JB was somewhat justified in referring to me as a menace to all womankind. You haven't slowed me since then either. That was just... You're still a beginner, so I was trying not to be too pushy.
キスさえしないのか
Why haven't you even kissed me? Because I wouldn't be able to stop myself. Fine by me. What?
勝手に気を使わないで
I do more than pointless worry for the both of us, thank you very much. You're one high-handed woman.
その通
I don't
り
deny it. She lets the words fly carelessly. The cool-headed Yumiko I used to know is still there, but with these hints of anxiety and flashes of newfound boldness in the mix. Somehow or other, she's turning into an undeniably cute young lady. So in other words, you're up for it?
ダメ
No, don't touch me. I'll never forgive you. No good after all? Control yourself until tonight. It's still mid-afternoon. If we do it in the middle of the day, I won't be able to control myself either. I fail to see why that's a problem. I want to take a bath first. We have to economize on the water bills as well, so we've restricted ourselves to a single bath at night each. Normally I just tell her to get in right now, but under the current circumstances, it's a legitimate reason for the delay.
その時の私は
I'd like to be convinced I'm at my
最高の
best.
私でありたいのよ
Definitely an in-character sort of thought either way. You're still the same old Yumiko at heart, aren't you?
ええそうよ
That's right.
自己満
I'm
足
pointlessly proud as always. Do you have any complaints? Nope. A wry smile spreads across my face. Suppose I'll have to respect Yumiko's wishes on this one. Alright then, tonight it is. Once again, we fall silent and return to our idle reading time. Or such was the plan. What's with you? Not sure what you're talking about. Is the map really so interesting? Of course not, it's just the map. It looked like you were smiling a little, though. Suddenly I understand why Yumiko has been in such a good mood all this time. It's got nothing to do with the map. It's a natural side effect of having you next to me. That's a coincidence. I've been suffering from similar symptoms. Heh. But right now I feel fulfilled. Every day's happy enough that I half expect things to fall apart catastrophically at any moment. Just as JB keeps warning they might. But for now, so long as the situation remains stable, I want to try and enjoy our time together. For Yumiko's sake as well as mine. She's never had much in the way of ordinary happiness. Surely God won't mind her indulging in a little sweetness. Now she finally has the chance. With that argument as a shield, I try my best to erase the ever-present trickle of anxiety from my mind. Sorry about that. In the drowsy, peaceful time after, I quietly apologize. Yumiko stirs slightly against my arm, currently serving as her pillow. About what? Seems I'm pretty dense when it comes to the subtleties. That's always been a weakness of mine, but I ended up making you anxious over nothing. I see. Don't get too relieved. Deep down I was still hoping for more. Right. Yumiko's real thoughts leak out in a cute little mutter. I have to stifle a wry laugh. First real day off we had together since the relationship started, you know? Is that right? Yes it is. You have no idea just how nervous I've been since yesterday, do you? I got a lot of things to apologize for. Keep those to yourself. Why? Because I'm the one who really should be apologizing. I don't know exactly what she's remembering right now, but still. You don't have a thing to be sorry for, Yumiko. As I think I've said once or twice already. Yes. Not a single thing. We're both here because we chose to be. Am I wrong? No. Yumiko nods lightly. That's better. Apologizing doesn't suit you, Yumiko. Gratitude works much better. And venomous insults, best of all. You could have skipped that last part. Just a joke. You shouldn't be criticizing me with a sense of humor like that. Your banter is lethally terrible. My apologies. Also, I really wish you wouldn't tease me ruthlessly at every opportunity. Sorry, can't help myself. And then I abruptly changed the topic. Hey Yumiko, someplace you want to go? Now that I think about it, we haven't gone out together yet. I mean, it's gonna be a little difficult while we're living like this, but I'd still like to know. Something wrong? You really have to know? What's the problem? Promise you won't laugh? Is it that ridiculous a place? Is there some reason you're wringing my neck? She's not like she's really strangling me yet. Yumiko's fingers are twined gingerly around my neck in a somewhat menacing fashion, that's all. That's all. I think you know the answer to that question. Come on, you don't trust me at all? Now when it comes to your sense of humor. Look, come on, where do you want to go? Let's hear it. Irk. An amusement park. Yeah? You're dead. I'm going to kill you. Even in the dark room, I can clearly see Yumiko's face go bright red. Her eyebrows arch violently as her eyes fill with tears. Also, she's strangling me. On the whole, I'm getting the impression she might be slightly upset. Ouch. Come on. The idea of you in an amusement park is just... Oh, ow! Yes, I know! Pathetic, isn't it? Must sound like a woman starved for familial love. Playing up how pitiful she is. But I can't help it, alright? I want to go. I've never been to one. I've never been. Not even once. Yumiko. I recall the story she told me under the bridge that rainy summer evening. For years she clung desperately to her family, only to be betrayed again and again. In the end, the girl gave up on all her hopes. She armed her body and mind with blades against the hostile world. But right now, Yumiko has found someone she can believe in, or at least, she's trying very hard to convince herself she has. And what she wants most from that person is exactly what her family couldn't give her. Laughing at that was a bit much, even as a joke. Yeah, alright. Let's go to an amusement park. Really? Don't know when we'll be able to pull it off, but I'll make it happen. That's a promise as well. Hey, how about a little warning before you jump all over me? Yumiko throws herself against me like an excited child. I'm sorry for strangling you. Not a problem, I had it down as Yumiko-style cuddling. Hey, don't lick my neck. I thought I'd kiss it and make it better. Really, it tickles. Cut it out. Two people have always been alone, slowly move closer to each other, seeking out something they've been missing. It was a very happy time, but even so, the stress of a life, constantly one misstep from disaster would gradually take its toll. Yumiko and I were too distracted by those intoxicating moments of happiness to notice it creeping up on us. I don't know what time it is, and I don't really care. More accurately, I don't have the energy to care. I'm gonna see how long I've been live for. Okay, an hour. We'll keep going. I smash asphalt and cart off the rubble like some sort of convict. I carry earth and sand around like a mindless machine, and at the end of the day I'm paid chicken feed. Since that became my daily routine, those moments of temporal disorientation have gotten pretty common. Never happened to me before. There was usually a very precise schedule to follow at my old job, so I've always been alert to the passing of time. I was generally surprised to see that part of me change. Living in an unfamiliar world really is exhausting. Maybe because I was musing about these things. Damn, I forgot to buy ingredients for dinner. I knew I had to pick something up right until I actually got to the shopping street, but the mental note I made to myself after checking the fridge this morning just fell right out of my mind at some point. Of course, the instant I got home and saw Yumiko's face, it popped right back into my head. I'll go back and pick something up right away. I won't deny it, but my condition doesn't necessarily have any bearing on the situation. I've been trained to use my judgment to produce optimal results under any given set of circumstances. I'm hungry, but there's nothing to eat, therefore I'm going shopping. I'll go. You, Yumiko? What's with the dubious can you really handle that expression? Can you? You're too soft on a woman who can't even do housework properly, Yuji. Putting my supposed softness aside for the moment, stop insulting the woman I love. What's wrong? Your face is red. Think I'm stupid enough to be thrown off for your shallow sweet talk? Nice try, but you're not fooling me. I wasn't trying to fool you, but can you at least decide if you're happy or angry? When you snarl at me with a mushy expression on your face, it's hard to know how to react. It's just a shopping trip. Even a child can handle that. Depends on how they've been raised. I don't want to force you to do things you might not be cut out for. Telling a woman she's not cut out for household chores is one step below a death sentence. Flexible gender roles are all well and good, but that's just the way of the world. I'm a little hurt. It's not what I meant. I'm sure you can pick up housework if you put your mind to it, Yumiko. Just feels like you're rushing things. Why not get used to it little by little? Interacting with strangers isn't exactly your strong point. Remember the time you stood frozen for 30 minutes trying to pick out a single crepe? After wavering indecisively over what to buy, the girl got so self-conscious that she couldn't even flee. Never even seen anything like it. I mean, I doubt it's always that bad, but seriously, how can you not be a little uneasy about this? And again, maybe it's that part of the reason Yumiko wants to do this so badly. It's a chance to overcome one of her weaknesses. Alright, in that case, at least let me come along. That would completely defeat the purpose of me doing it. Yeah, but you are tired, aren't you? Don't worry about it, it's not severe enough to be a problem. I'll be the one to decide that, thank you very much. I think I want to call the shots when it comes to my own body, at least. You? What? I didn't catch that. Am I not allowed to worry about you, Yuji? If the girl's doing this deliberately, she's a frighteningly good manipulator. But of course, I'm perfectly aware Yumiko is not capable of such skillful self-control. No, I'm happy that you're worried about me. So what then, you can't trust me? There's no one alive I trust as much as you, Yumiko, it's true. So there's someone who isn't alive? I think you're officially going overboard on the jealousy. I'm definitely enjoying it too much. It's only a shopping trip for goodness sake. Well, yes, but... What's wrong? I just don't want to be a burden on you, Yuji. For a moment I'm at a loss for words, but... Has that been on your mind? Sorry to disappoint, but I've never thought of you as a burden, not even once. Sounds like you're trying to convince yourself. That said, I can see where you're coming from. I messed up on this one. How so? I was being overprotective. Understandably, you misunderstood. It was clearly my mistake. Suppose we'll leave it at that. Thanks. I'm nothing compared to you. Seems like we're back to the somewhat prickly status quo. I'll be honest with you. Right now, I'm pretty damn exhausted both physically and mentally. Once I sit down, I don't think I'm going to be getting back up again for a while. Is that bad? I can handle the cooking, but just thinking about walking around is depressing. Could I ask for your help? 1 second, I'll go get a pen and paper. Appreciate it. I know I'm being a little indulgent, but I'm not Yumiko's guardian. She's not my ward. We're partners. I want to respect her opinion and work through our disagreements as equals. Of course, as long as we're fugitives, that pretty ideal won't always be possible. There's going to be times when she'll have to do what I say. I'm just more experienced and knowledgeable when it comes to self-preservation. But as for today, I walked through the shopping street and performed my normal observations. Tired as I may be, I'm confident I won't notice anything strange. And more than that, there's a purely selfish reason I want to let her go. It feels nice relying on Yumiko and being relied on in return. Simple as that. Then I'll be heading out. Alright. What's wrong? Weren't you leaving? The goodbye? It's nothing. I get it. Then pull her to an embrace. No, that's not what I... Before she can object, I push my mouth against hers. And after a good long while, I finally pull back. Was I wrong? You weren't wrong. Yumiko reflexively starts with a nod, but tapers off cutely into the truth. I'll be going then. Why so meek all of a sudden? You're imagining things. Watch your back out there, alright? Yes, I know. Then I sit down, and then we just hope for the best. I don't know. I'm guessing this is gonna be like the part where things go to shit again. I don't know. Like, I don't know, I'm guessing Yumiko's gonna run into the wrong person, and we're still, like, Yuji's not gonna, like, be there. Unless he pulls off another miracle. I mean, we're talking about the guy who basically just stopped Yumiko from being, like, shipped off to America. Basically just stopped her from being forcibly shipped off to America with just some guy's stolen Lamborghini and his frozen turkey. Oh, and Sachi's mini bike. Like her, like, bicycle, not like the motorcycle, just like a bicycle. They chased like several cars with. I exhale deeply, pushing all the air out of my lungs. It's been a while since I quit my initial public works construction job. Couldn't help getting too familiar with the place. Ended up standing out more than I wanted to. Since then, I've been regularly changing employers. Deliberately going for more short-term work. Downside is that I can't get used to any one job. The exhaustion's been building up quietly for a while now. My body will probably adapt to this lifestyle eventually, but it's definitely going to take some time. Guess I have to just keep at it. Even resisting gravity seems like a complete nuisance right now. I let myself collapse to the floor. Once Yumiko gets back, it'll be time to make dinner. Until then, I might as well relax a little. I flop over onto my side to get comfortable and then push myself back up off the ground. Come on, Yumiko. How are you planning to pay without your purse? What an idiotic blunder. You're still beating yourself up over that? I ended up wasting both of our time, didn't I? There's no point in dwelling on this. Let's put it behind us. I suppose. Yumiko has been like this ever since I delivered the purse she forgot earlier. I understand it's because she feels generally guilty, but still. I was like trying to be less of a burden, but... Like I said, you're not a burden to me, and it made me happy that you tried to help. But... I know you're concerned about me, Yumiko. That's what counts. Let's sleep. I got work tomorrow and all, you know. Right. And then they sleep. A few clever words could probably cheer Yumiko up, maybe even get her laughing about this. I'm doing the best I can, but my own clumsiness makes me wince. Wish to hell I could trade my natural talent of being a sarcastic ass for the ability to comfort her. Might be time to start thinking about what comes next. When I analyze the situation calmly, right now I'm physically and mentally exhausted. I'm very near to the limits of my endurance. However, it's not because Yumiko's burdening me down, it's because Yumiko's at my side, and I'm able to keep struggling forward. That's generally how I feel. That's a pretty decent line, isn't it? I'll have to work that one into conversation tomorrow at some point. Even as the thoughts running through my mind, I'm starting to slip down into darkness. Oh, I know. Why don't I give you a massage at least? Yuji? No way, he's already asleep? He must have been completely exhausted. Well, I could be more of a help. I can't say that, can I? That was anticlimactic. Okay, I've got to get going. Oh, really? Like, how long is this chapter anyways? I'm guessing this is like one mega chapter or something we're in right now. Okay, I've got to get going. Have a good day at work. There's a good chance of rain this afternoon. Might end up coming back a little earlier than usual. Is that how it works? Depends on what we're doing at the site and how bad the weather is. Okay, got it. What is it? Forgetting anything? The goodbye? Oh, just get going already. I see, alright then, bye. Honestly. I'm a completely pathetic excuse for a woman, aren't I? The weather's nice today. Just you wait and see, Yuji. I'll show you I'm more than a gloomy lump of a woman who needs to be cheered up all the time. I'll be more than a match for you in no time. Brace yourself. Yumiko? You did all this? Yes, that's right. You've been looking tired lately, but perhaps I shouldn't have bothered? Don't be ridiculous. I'm overjoyed. I had no idea you'd become such a fine woman. This isn't all. I still got more surprises up my sleeve. In that case, I expect great things of you. Yuji. Yumiko. If you have time to put on a cringe-worthy one-woman show like this, maybe you should just get started already. I'm not just a problem to worry about, I can help you out as well. First off, the cooking. Wait to see what we have in the fridge before anything else. Okay, but what should I make? Got a full range of ingredients. Should have had Yuji borrow me a cookbook or something. If I still had my cell phone, I could search for recipes on the internet, but... Did make that meat and potato stew in Homie C once, didn't I? Let's go with that. I have to wash the vegetables first. Potatoes, carrots. Kind of think of it. I suppose we don't have a peeler. Usually always just use the kitchen knife. Don't think about it, just move your hands. That's a basic principle. Still wonder if I can really pull this off. Feels less like peeling and more like I was shaving them down, but I guess I'll have to do. Can't let it get to me. Right, confidence is what matters. This'll work just fine. I'll just take these and cut them up in nice sized chunks. Add the soy sauce and mirin, then cover with a drop lid. Hopefully it comes out tasty. I suppose I can do something else while I wait. When vacuuming, make sure not to forget the corners of the room. This cord is rather short. I wonder if there's anything to be done about that. Oh, the laundry's finished? I read the instructions carefully, so that's gone fairly smoothly, I expect. Set it out to dry before I forget about it. The underwear's twisted out of shape. Kind of think of it. I think Susan told me underwear should be hand washed to avoid damage. I should have listened a little more carefully. Hang out the trousers and then... Yushi's shirt is all frayed. Did I wash it incorrectly? Let's just do what we can. Here it is. I knew we had a sewing set here somewhere. Never used it before. So I ended up having to turn the room upside down just to find it. I'll have to clean up later. The needle goes through the cloth surprisingly easily. This isn't anything worth whimpering about. I'll be able to handle it soon enough. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, even sewing, and... What's that? Do I smell something strange? The pot! What a stupid mistake, I completely forgot. It smells a little burnt, but let's see how how clumsy... Oh no. Oh fuck! Oh, for crying out loud. I tried to do a little sewing and then stabbing my finger. The food in the pot gets burnt. When I try to take the droplet off, it's incredibly hot. The moment I pull my hand back, I knock against the shelf. half-hour tableware falls to the ground and shatters, and when I cool my hand in the faucet, the burn and cuts sting like crazy. Anybody would be about ready to cry by now. Okay. Oh, right. Oh no, I left the laundry out. I just tried that! I've got to get it all inside before. Ow! What did she run into this time? Tripped myself on the vacuum cleaner cord. The tea on the table spilled all over the place, so the laundry's all soggy. The room's all soggy too. What the heck? After all that time and effort, I didn't accomplish a single thing. I just want to help Yuji. Just want to be some burden. But I couldn't do a thing. No matter what I tried, just ended up dragging him down. Maybe he'd be better off if I just disappeared. Yumiko! I burst in the room, not pausing to take off my shoes. The scene inside confirms my worst fears. The dim, shadowy apartment has been completely transformed since this morning. In the kitchen, I can make out shattered tableware and clothes scattered all over the place. The living room space is comparatively undisturbed, but the lingering scent of something burnt in the air feeds the storm of panic swelling through my mind. Those bastards. How they track us down? Yumiko, you're safe! Relief washes over me as my eyes find Yumiko cowering in the middle of the room. Safe? What? They were here, weren't they? They? The room was a complete disaster. They must have been here. I'm amazed they were able to resist. You're always surprising me, Yumiko. Yushi, you're all wet. It's pouring out there. I did have an umbrella, but I dropped it when I saw the light wasn't on in here. Maybe something had to be wrong. Those people shouldn't be able to carry you off if they wanted to. Did they deliberately let you walk? What's their game here? You're wrong. About what? Anything, not anything like that. I was doing housework. Housework? And failed spectacularly. I just want to say there was an attempt. I don't know, that's like the first thing that's really coming to mind. There was an attempt at housework. I mean, like, sure, you don't, like, get a Nobel Prize for attempted science, but for someone who's probably literally never got the opportunity to even try housework before. I mean, she fucking destroyed the place, but don't be ridiculous. It looks like someone was fighting off a burglar in here. Housework couldn't possibly produce a disaster scene like this. Normally it couldn't, but when I'm involved, it's a different story. It's more than a little hard to believe, but from the miserable look on Yumiko's face, it's clear enough she's telling the truth. It's also clear just how hurt she is. I quietly curse myself for making a bad situation worse. Okay, in that case, let's start by cleaning up the room. I'm the one who made the mess, and you're probably tired, aren't you? You're not the only one. I came running here in my wet shoes, see? Just look at those footprints. I'll take care of those too. Won't take long if we work together. That's true, but more importantly, Yumiko, I want to help you. Whenever and however I can, alright? This last argument finally seems to do the trick. Yumiko makes no further attempt to eject. Okay, then let's get this cleaned up right away. We got a broken glass here, that's dangerous. No, it's fine. Ow! I cut the tip of my finger against the shard of glass like a complete idiot. I'm physically worn out, so my fingers were trembling a bit, and I was moving a little quickly to keep Yumiko from touching it. Still a pretty pathetic slip-up by any standard. Don't worry, it's fine. I got clumsy and scratched myself. Nothing serious. You're hurt. It's really not that big of a deal. It's my fault. Are you listening to me? Whoa. Without a word, she buries her face against my chest. The sound of the rain outside our dark little room seems to grow louder. It feels as if the relentless drumming isn't just filling my ears, but also clouding my vision. Like that day when she cowered to the thunder, Yumiko clings to me firmly. Her body still and rigid as a stone. What's wrong? Bring back a bad memory or something? Yumiko? I didn't think Yumiko would get so upset over something like this minor. Well, no. Maybe I just don't want to believe it. I wrap an arm around her and her shoulders. wait quietly for the storm to pass. Alright, let's eat. Thank you for the food. Yumiko sits across the dinner table, her shoulders still slumped miserably. Her long hair falls like a shadow across her downcast face. Come on, it's not worth brooding over like this. I'll leave it alone, so just eat your dinner, it's good. For what? Lots of things. You don't have to be. I'm feeling more grateful than anything else. Huh? It made me happy what you tried to do today. The results don't change that. Also, you're pretty convinced you failed, but this meat stew is seriously good. Hell of a lot better than the dull stuff I'm always making. Even with that alone, you could call this a success. I think there were another number of other things worth mentioning. That's just how it goes with housework sometimes, no need to let it get to you. I'm well aware that I'm not even being particularly coherent right now. Even so, I care a hell of a lot more about Yumiko than just some broken plates. She's the whole reason I'm here. The whole reason I was able to break away from a meaningless, empty life with someone else's dog. All of a sudden, the words I decided to say last night popped back into my head. You said you don't want to be a burden on me, right? Not to repeat myself, but you got it all backward. It's only because you're with me that I can keep going. Thank you. It might have been easier if you chastised me. I don't have anything to chastise you for. Of course he'd say that. Yumiko smiles awkwardly, but there's still more than a hint of gloom in her eyes. We're both trying our best to help each other. We both care about each other very much. I know all that. I know this disconnect is the product of the exhaustion and stress that come with living as fugitives. Even so, I can't help but feel guilty. Maybe Yumiko wouldn't be looking this sad right now if I wasn't so incompetent. Maybe we wouldn't be hiding like rats if I wasn't such a worthless piece of trash. But just thinking those thoughts is an insult to the woman who believes in me. I pushed the black pessimism out of my mind with an effort of will. My room's silent except for the intolerable droning of the rain. No matter how long we wait, it doesn't give the slightest sign of stopping anytime soon. Alright, then I'm going to get going. Yumiko? Have a nice day. I'll come back early today, alright? Yeah. 3 days have passed since that commotion. Unfortunately, Yumiko still hasn't cheered up whatsoever. Looking regret over her blunders is only a small part of it, I think. It seems more like a deep reservoir of self-doubt that's been gathering inside her for months is finally overflowing out into the surface. I told her not to worry about it, but no matter how many times in a night, Yumiko seems firmly attached to the conclusion that her uselessness is dragging me down. The situation's probably not going to improve until the girl realizes it's not true. I want to convince her somehow, but I can't seem to find the right words. Right now, all I can manage is to act like everything's normal in the hope she'll forget about this a little sooner. A real relationship can be one hell of a difficult balancing act. Even more than physical fatigue, the knowledge weighs on my shoulders. Damn it, I just hope she's not brooding over there. Even in the middle of work, I can't get Yumiko out of my head. Leaving the girl alone at a time like this worries me. When I'm there, I can talk to her. It's a stopgap measure, but I can embrace her until she calms down. Solitude amplifies fear and doubt. In a frustrating situation like this, talking to yourself for hours on end is a very dangerous thing. However, I simply don't have the flexibility to spend all my time with Yumiko right now. Our financial situation is way too tight. I got no choice but to finish up here and get back to her as quickly as humanly possible. Locking another sandbag into place, I exhale heavily and look up into the sky. The weather's nice. So fine, it almost makes me uneasy. And I'm sitting around all day doing nothing. Not only that, I actively make a nuisance of myself. Honestly, what a complete idiot. Honestly. That's right. If not for me, Yuji wouldn't have to be living like this. I can't find one anywhere. I suppose they've mostly been replaced by cell phones these days. There wasn't even one in the front of the convenience store. I've got to find one right away. There. You can get going for the day. Right. The work progressed a little more quickly than expected. A little past 2 in the afternoon, I get approval to head home. Unfortunately. Today's site was pretty far from the apartment. Had to get back as quickly as possible for Yumiko's sake and mine. We're gonna be pretty busy starting tomorrow, so make sure you get plenty of rest. Yes, sir. That's right, tomorrow's going to come. A new dividing line between the past and the future. No matter how many painful and ugly wounds you've suffered, there's always a possibility of healing so long as you keep walking forward. That's the one thing I have to make Yumiko understand. Struggle all you want, look for your answers, just don't throw away your own tomorrow. That's right, I just have to ask. He'll agree, surely. That man only needs me, after all. In exchange for my voluntary return, turn a blind eye to Yuji's crimes. Sure, it's not such a bad bargain. A public telephone? Who on earth? Hello? What? What was I doing? I was about to betray Yuji again. They hung up? We've confirmed that Kazami Yuji and Yumiko-san have destroyed their personal cell phones. Should you receive any suspicious calls? A public telephone? Could it be? Pull the records on the payphone that they just called. Yes, to my cell, of course. Are you even awake over there? There's a good chance it was Yumiko or that boy soldier of hers. Hurry up. Finally throwing the towel, eh, Yumiko? Wasn't able to get back that early after all. The return train from the site was delayed. Oh no. Yeah, it took me like not too long to realize that, yeah, like someone like him would definitely like be able to just easily access records on some arbitrary public phone. I mean, with a guy who's got like connections to the military, I mean, of course, like you could just get into contact with someone who could access that phone. And then basically thus just track it down and, well, shit. She immediately hung up, but still, now they all know where both of them are. This is no good. Why am I feeling so uneasy? Probably because I kept dwelling on the situation while I worked. Unproductive thoughts keep flitting through my mind. Shaking my head to drive away those vaguely ominous feelings, I hurry home while maintaining an appropriate level of vigilance. A good feeling is usually the product of wishful thinking, but a bad feeling is grounded in experience and reality. Therefore, the latter proves accurate more often than the former, or so they say. The lights are out in our apartment. The instant I see that, all the dark thoughts I've been fighting today spring violently back to life. Yumiko! Dropping the armful of used books I bought as a distraction for Yumiko, I sprint upstairs to the second floor. Yumiko, are you there? I unlock the door and rush inside. No sound or movement enters my frantic entrance. Was I too... Then I find her hunched down quietly in the middle of the room, arms wrapped around her knees. The curtains are tightly shut. The sun hasn't set, but her room's enveloped in darkness. Unlike last time, there's no signs of mess or physical damage, and yet it's obvious at a glance that Yumiko's in far worse shape than she was that day. What happened, Yumiko? And I shake her by the shoulder more roughly than I intended. And with a terribly glacial movement of her neck, she lifts her face to look at me. I'm completely useless. Completely, utterly useless. Yumiko? First thing out of her mouth wasn't my name or even the words of apology I hate so much. They were empty, bitter words, filled with profound self-loathing. Something happened, right? All I can say for sure is something's very wrong. One misstep here and everything might fall apart. Yumiko, tell me what's wrong, please. At the very least, I need her to tell me what happened. I can't do a thing until I know what we're up against. And then she finally speaks. I tried to make a call. What, on a payphone? We destroyed Yumiko's cell phone immediately after beginning our life on the run. Yumiko slowly nods her head and then continues, oddly fighting back tears. I tried to call him, to see if he'd spare you at least. Him? Your father? I'm the one who made you do all that, Yuji. If I wasn't here, you wouldn't be living like this. So I thought maybe I could save you by going back to that house. I was going to beg him. Yumiko, you... But I changed my mind. I'm not saying anything, so... I wrap my arms around Yumiko and interrupt her words. Crushing her against me in a powerful hug, I pet her hair and stroke the smell of her back. Yuji? All I seem to do is make you worry. The girl was so desperately concerned about me, she nearly threw her own freedom away. I was naive to think I understood. Stupid to think she would just put it behind her. For a moment, I'm immersed in something very much like despair. How well can the likes of me possibly answer such intense feelings? After one last time, I pull away, determined to at least try. We're leaving. It's better to assume they've already located us. As soon as he placed that call, they had a traceable record. There aren't that many people who'd bother to use a payphone these days. It's going to raise suspicions. That's... No, that can't. Pretty sure you had no idea. Can't do anything about it now. Put that out of your mind. Alright then. After quickly gathering up a few basic personal belongings, open the curtains and crack and peer outside. There doesn't seem to be anything suspicious going on yet. Taking my cell phone from my pocket, I open a map of the area around our apartment. All our escape routes seem viable for the moment. We're going to catch a train at Sejima Station. Let's hurry. Is it gonna be alright? Yes. I fucking hope so! The situation's clearly worse than it was back then. But today, Yumiko's grip seems a little firmer. As we roll along the asphalt under the setting sun, I squeeze her hand in return, searching for the resolve I'll need to keep her safe. Damn, we're too late. Looks like somebody left in a hurry, huh? Left most of their stuff lying around. Call President Sakaki immediately. I'll look for any clues about their destination. Got it. I'm very sorry. It seems they were here, but they've already fled. The state of the room suggests they left very recently. We'll pursue immediately. Understood. Get on their trail and don't let them give you the slip this time. I won't let you get away, Yumiko. You're going to listen to what I say and do as you're told. From the West Tsutomu Railroad Sejima Station, we board on a train on a line that winds its way through the mountains. I sit quietly next to Yumiko, my arm wrapped around her shoulder. She doesn't try to strike up a conversation either. It's still a little early for the office workers to be coming home, so the train's mostly empty. No real need for us to be silent. Still, neither of us exactly feel like having a casual chat. I watch Yumiko's face from the side. Her expression haggard, she stares quietly down at the floor beneath her feet. There's no light in her eyes. What sort of words would bring this girl real comfort? Too clumsy to craft skillful white lies. I couldn't even give her temporary relief. I just waited for things to mellow with the passing of time. There didn't seem to be any other choice, but that was wishful thinking, expecting the impossible. Something like this could have happened at any moment, but I just passively waited for the infinite flow of time to solve all our problems for us. Pathetic as it is to admit, maybe I was just tired. This lifestyle took its toll on me as well. I wouldn't have chosen such an idiotic policy otherwise. I've got to tell her somehow. Something I want Yumiko to know. But if I said it right now, no way she'd accept it at face value. In fact, she'd probably interpret it as kind of an insincere lip service. Might as well end up pushing her even further into her shell. Any attempt at cheering the girl up right now will probably just have the opposite effect. With a loud thunk and squeal from the brakes, our train shakes heavily and comes to a halt. This is West Tokoroyama. This is West Tokoroyama. Transfer is available to the Nishikawa mountain line. Board sign and conductor. The dude's probably up at, like, I don't know, like 3 in the morning. I'd probably sound exactly like that too if I were up at 3 in the morning trying to do, I don't know, anything. Informs us we've arrived at a station. The Nishikawa mountain line, as the name might suggest, leads into the mountains themselves. It heads even further into the backwoods than our current destination. As I glance out from our mostly empty carriage, a sign on the station platform catches my eye. Halfway up the mountain line, the West Tsutomu Railway built a baseball stadium, something with tourist attraction. The sign's covered with a large poster advertising the team's upcoming schedule, but my gaze comes to a halt just below it. There's another sign I hadn't noticed at first. It brings back a memory from a few months ago, something we talked about before the strain began to wear us down. Something important I'd nearly forgotten. We'd been hard-pressed just to get by. Maybe it's only natural it slipped out of my mind. It was something Yumiko needs. Something she's needed for a long time. Yumiko, you awake? I lightly shake her body. Time to transfer. Here? Gotta hurry, the train's going to leave. We step onto the platform, then make our way towards the largely deserted branch line. The wind's still a little cold despite the season, blows vigorously through the exposed station. Where are we gonna take that train further down the line? Why did we get off here? Forgot something. We're going to go take care of that. We're going back to the apartment? No, that's not it. This way, Yumiko. Pulling her Along by the hand, I stride towards the mountain line platform. The wind gusts against our back, as if to push us along. Yuji! What's up? This place! I mean, what's why? The train took us 3 stops up into the mountains before reaching its final stop. As soon as we disembark, Yumiko's expression transforms into one of pure bewilderment. With one step past the ticket gate, a sea of vivid electric decorations opens up theatrically before our eyes. It's an amusement park, if you hadn't figured that out for yourself. I know that, but why all of a sudden, and at a time like this? It's a polar opposite of the colorless fusion of life we've been trapped in for so long. Must feel like I've carried her into a dream. It'd be strange if she wasn't taken aback. That's exactly it. Our pursuers will never suspect the two of us might be playing around here like we don't have a care in the world. But that's still... you can't be. I speak in an artificially stern tone of voice. Listen, Yumiko, this is a crucial part of our escape strategy. Forget the questions for now. I need you to act like you're having fun. Really? You might well invite suspicion unless we're sincerely enjoying ourselves. Make it look convincing, alright? I understand. Have to start the roller coaster, am I right? No way! Such a powerful enemy right off the bat? Powerful enemy, she says. I don't understand amusement park rides really have power levels, but apparently Yumiko's worked out a firm internal ranking. How powerful enemy, she says. Meanwhile, like, back in, like, fucking 2012 when I was playing Castlevania 3, like, for some reason I was saying, like, full enemy and half enemy. Yeah, for some reason I refer to a boss fight as a quote-unquote full enemy. Compared to, like, the smaller, like, bone dragons that there are more of, but are just easier to deal with. More simple AI that I refer to as half enemies. There's more of these guys that are half enemies compared to this boss at the end, which is like a full enemy. Full enemy?! Still remember, like, Physicist's reaction in chat? Full enemy? Full enemy?! Yeah, I don't blame you for that. Normally you work your way up to that sort of thing, right? You know, start with the slow and easy rise and get used to it. It's all good, but if we start off with a real thrill, everything after will seem easier by comparison, right? But, no buts. Come on, let's go. Firmly seizing Yumiko's hand, I drag her over to the roller coaster line by force. In a mostly empty amusement park, soon to be closed for the night, the sound of our rapid footsteps echoes through the air. Alright, we're riding that one next. Maybe we should at least catch our breath first? Understandably enough. Yumiko had been hesitant at first, but after 2 or 3 rides that faded away completely. By now, she's the one pulling me around. What should we ride next? What's your preference, Yuji? I like to ride that bench in the rest area for a while. Let's go on that river rafting ride. Looks fun, right? People have often told me my listening skills need work, but it seems I'm not the only one. Hey, don't yank me around like that. Smiling wryly, I let Yumiko pull me back into a run. Any good at driving go-karts, Yuji? Never been in one before, but I imagine it won't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, like, he was in someone's Lamborghini, going at like almost 300 kilometers an hour, so it shouldn't be a problem. Imagine my guy like can handle a stolen Lamborghini, and also just like basically like just stand like outside the window and throw a frozen turkey like dead center into a plane engine, and then for some reason can't handle a go-kart. But I've got experience driving it up to 300 kilometers per hour. But it's probably best to keep that thought to myself. No point reminding the girl of the past. In any case, handling this sort of vehicle is actually something of a specialty of mine. You wanna have a go? Not particularly feminine, is it? If you promise not to laugh? A little late to worry about now after the way you flipped up on that thrill ride. Ow! This coming from the girl who cackled with glee as the coaster went to a nearly straight vertical drop. Well, whatever, let's give it a shot. I'm looking forward to seeing you drive. I'm a whole different person once I get behind the wheel. Seriously? It's a joke, to be honest. I've never driven before, not even in the game. This inspires a moment of relief, but soon I recall the distressing example of a certain monstrous speed demon named Suawamane. Indeed, there's no telling how taking hold of the steering wheel will change a person. Vision of Yumiko merrily smashing around the track, shrieking, "This feels so good, I want more, Yuji!" Flashes before my eyes. Think I'll have to keep a very careful eye on how things develop out there. Nothing, just reflecting on the countless possibilities lying dormant inside the human soul. What? I think we've been on almost everything by now. Then a little, so they've ridden everything they saw. Discovering your unexpected weakness to rotating rides made it all worthwhile. Yumiko looks over at me with a smirk on her face. So Sumi, I'm just not a fan of that coffee cup thing. You have the surliest look on your face the whole time. Next time you do something bad, maybe I'll sit you down in a chair and spin you around as punishment. Spare me the practical applications, please. It's good that Yumiko seems to be enjoying herself. But the last thing I need is the girl developing some weird little superiority complex. I think some retaliation may be in order. How about this next? Is there some ride we haven't been on yet? This is... What's wrong? Where's that energy and enthusiasm gone all of a sudden, Sakaki Yumiko? I'll pass on this one. Let's do something else, okay? But which ride does she want to pass on? Not happening. You can't be serious. It's your punishment for mocking me about the spinning ride. Only fair we have you face up to your weaknesses as well, right? I make my way to a building tucked into the dense... Oh, a haunted house. So that's it? A building marked spine-chilling Hall of Horrors. Well, I wasn't expecting much from a mere amusement park attraction. That was a truly engrossing experience. That wax figure that popped out halfway through was particularly well made. The way his brains burst out all over the place was quite realistic, don't you think? Oh, and the master of the hall, I saw the decapitation coming. But I wasn't expecting a severed blood. Alright, so are you live still? I'm gonna probably double check. And, looks like it. And, God, that's cringe. Looks like it. And, God, that's cringe. Looks like it. I'm having too much fun listening to my own echoes. We're supposed to be just watching these two just enjoying themselves at the amusement park here. Just finally Yumiko getting to like do the one thing she wanted to do as a kid for all this time, and now I'm just listening to my own echoes. Getting to like do the one thing she wanted to do as a kid for all this time, and now I'm just listening to my own echoes. Getting to like do the one thing she wanted to do as a kid for all this time, and now I'm just listening to my own echoes. Getting to like do the one thing she wanted to do as a kid for all this time, and now I'm just listening to my own echoes. Guess it's worth giving that sort of place a try every once in a while. Hey, Yumiko? What's wrong? You haven't been saying much, and that pale face of yours is getting whiter. Did you catch a cold or something? It's because I was terrified, obviously! You did seem even more frightened than I expected. I can't believe you! That was too scary! Yumiko only shrieked and screamed like a normal girl for the first 5 minutes or so. After that, the terror must have overloaded her brain. No matter what came after us, she'd just quiver violently at my side, her face frozen in an expressionless mask. You really are totally helpless against that sort of stuff, huh? My bad. Oh, please. You knew that perfectly well, and you still dragged me there. Sometimes you're a complete sadist, Yuji. Can't deny that. Like in bed, even when I tell you to stop, things always get out of hand. You say something? Nothing! It's nothing! Come on, enough scary stuff! Let's go for something a little more fun this time, okay? Clearly trying to change the subject. I'm starting to get a little tired. Yeah, same here. We finished visiting nearly all the attractions the park has to offer. Yumiko glows with obvious satisfaction, but there's a hint of fatigue in her eyes as well. Of course, considering the long stormy day we just had, I suppose it's only natural for her to be a little worn out. Why don't we finish by riding the Ferris wheel? Is there someone behind me? No, it doesn't seem like it. She's been shooting glances over at one fixed point in particular. Subtly, careful not to let Yumiko notice, I follow the line of her gaze. Wait, does Yumiko seriously want to? What I find there surprises me is an attraction somewhat out of sync with Yumiko's image. This ride stands out as an S-rank mismatch. Hey Yumiko, do you want to ride that thing? I point in the direction Yumiko was just looking and gingerly ask the obvious question. What? Instantly, in a replay of the previous conversation, her pale face lights up with a violent blush. It's like, why would I want to? It's like something a little girl would ride. You've been running around like a little girl the whole time we've been here, haven't you? You're mocking me, aren't you? You're clearly mocking me. In any case, you want to just skip it and leave? What? Guess that's decided then. You're so easy to understand. Let's make that the grand finale then. Before long, the two of us have climbed onto the ride Yumiko had her eye on. The park's shutting down for the night very soon. There aren't any other visitors to be seen. Is he? I was about to ask if he's literally sitting on her, like, lap or something, but no, it clearly doesn't look like it. But nonetheless, the girl looks around the area nervously, self-conscious despite the complete lack of spectators. What's the problem? Nobody's around. Might as well throw your pride to the wind and regress to childhood. How am I supposed to regress all of a sudden? Come on, seriously. A vast array of cheap-looking electric decorations and lights begin to blink cheerily on and off, and an upbeat tune that feels vaguely familiar plays from the speakers overhead. As if such a childish bit of make-believe is going to. Halfway through the sentence, Yumiko falters. The carousel horse slowly rises and falls underneath us. The scene before our eyes transforms again and again. A brilliant green gradient fades into a sky of impossible indigo blue, forming an artificial stage in the midst of the darkness. White lights above merge into one continuous line, illuminating the spectacle. As the soothing, strangely nostalgic sounds and lights wash over us, the tone of Yumiko's voice gradually begins to change. What's wrong? Then she continues, I always wanted to ride one. Just like this, with somebody I love. You have no idea how much I would fucking hate it. If Yumiko's father found her, like, right now. That would be, like, the biggest mood killer, like, ever. Every time we move up and down the middle fixture supporting our horse creak audibly. With every clunking repetition, Yumiko's body shakes a little in my arms. And it's not just because the horse is worn out. Back when Mom was still living with Dad, I didn't understand at all. How at first she grew up assuming herself to be a normal child. How she slowly came to realize she was different. The beginning of her isolation. When Dad had a day off, he'd take Mom and the others out to sea to visit beaches and amusement parks. But they always left me behind. Just me out in the garden drawing pictures in the dirt. Mom ended up in the hospital. Dad stayed far away. Grandma and Grandpa acted like I wasn't even there. And that's when I finally understood that I shouldn't have been born. But nobody wanted me around. That I always have to be alone. The girl's been making an effort not to cry in front of me. And even when she was crushed by her own failures, she did her absolute best not to break down. Even now she keeps her back turned, refusing to let me see the tears. How many times has Yumiko cried like this, her face hidden from the world? Abandoned, rejected, betrayed, hacking at her hair with a box cutter, hiding in her room. All the times it hurt the most, the girl's been on her own. Well, Yuji, being here with you today, having fun together, made me really happy. Yumiko? Artificial stars rotate before our eyes. The light merges together into one long, multicolored stripe, dancing up and down, left and right. And then, Yuji, be honest. That escape strategy was nonsense, wasn't it? He took us here for my sake. I never tell lies. Don't you know that by now? So, an escape strategy from Yumiko's dad, or for Yumiko to escape from, like, herself, her own feelings? Is that what he meant by the escape strategy for Yumiko to, like, escape, like, her own negative feelings, finally break out of her shell? Yeah. I don't know if I'm, like, the only one who might be guessing this, but it makes sense. It makes sense when you think about it. Something about, like, an escape strategy. Escaping from being all alone, being miserable about, like, just your past. Just escaping from that by having fun with the one you love. Ridiculous slander. You kept telling me nothing was wrong even when you were suffering. You hid the truth because you knew it would bother me. I want you to be more self with me, Yuji, but I couldn't make you. That made me very sad. I'm so sorry, Yuji. The miserable apology that finally spills out of Yumiko's mouth is a quiet, frail thing, but it's still enough to pierce me to the core. I want to divide the pain and sadness you're carrying more equally between us. I want to take care of you, the way you take care of me, but I couldn't do a single thing. And I'm sorry for being with you, Yumiko. As if her own pain wasn't enough, she wants to take on the darkness inside me. She's trying to load down her slender body with a weight it can't possibly bear. And this is from a girl too weak even to support herself. I have something I want to say to you as well, Yumiko. Pressing her body firmly to mine, I speak the words clearly into her ear. I'm really glad you were born. Thank you. Huh? I've never had anyone care about me this much. Everything I did before I met you felt hollow. I always ended up alone. With my master gone, I didn't know why I was even bothering to keep on breathing. Continuing to work for my country. I tried to find the meaning of the words she left me at the end. They were all I had left. I still haven't unraveled that mystery, but now that I'm with Yumiko, I think I'm beginning to glimpse some small fragment of the answer. At the very least, your birth had meaning for me, so let me say this one more time. Don't apologize, I'm grateful to you. I embrace her even more strongly than before. Above the swaying carousel horse, Yumiko's body begins to tremble once again. A warm drop of water falls on the hand I've wrapped around her, then another. Proceeding, pretending not to notice, I gently stroke her hair. Why are you so kind? I'm not kind, I'm just full of myself. I do what I want. Come at me with a line like that, I can't even fight back anymore. Her hand reaches back to grasp the sleeve of my shirt. Sorry, it's by nature. It takes some time for Yumiko's trembling to die down. The park outside is already sinking into darkness. As I watch, the lights on the other attractions wink out in ones and twos. By the way, there was one other reason I brought you here. Because I promised. As my words jog her memory, Yumiko's voice takes on a note of surprise. You told me you want to visit one of these, remember? I know the timing's a little crazy, but... I'm happy. You remembered? Come on, no way to forget something like that. Right. Music playing from the tinny, poorly maintained speakers above us is repeatedly interrupted by bursts of static. That jarring noise periodically cuts our conversation apart. The cheap dream world creaks and groans around us. It's not exactly the sort of illusion you could just lose yourself in, but none of that really matters. I found a woman who can love a piece of trash like me from the bottom of her heart. That's enough to make this place an impossible paradise. Eventually the last attractions go dark and our little fantasy world fades away with the sigh of a motor. I sit on our horse with my arms around Yumiko, quietly speaking her name again and again, as if to remind her that she's here, that this is real. And in response she whispers Yuji many, many times. Then in the forest so dark it's impossible to tell where the trees end and the sky begins, our train winds its way down to civilization. Little by little, the small lights of carriage windows come into the view in the station below where we traversed only a few hours ago, as much as we want to deny it. Those lights force us to realize that our time in the dream world's over. Down there, inescapable reality is waiting for us. It's already past 10. They've had hours to follow our trail. Once we've transferred the train that'll carry us away from here, we won't be able to turn back. Our eyes are all hollow and lifeless like they were before. but from the tightly clenched fist resting on the seat by her thigh, I can see that she's still uneasy. I lower my hand from her shoulder to cover that small fist. After a few gentle strokes, she lets her hand fall open, then turns to squeeze mine in return. Where are we going? We'll take a detour to the north, then head east. From there, we'll change to a different private railway and head further north. There's some decently populated towns along the coastal railway, where we shouldn't stand out too much. Hide people among people. Still following that basic principle, I've started a more slightly distant destination. However, unless the fundamental dynamics of the situation change, our fugitive lifestyle isn't going to end. From what JB's told me, the East Beach Group has some delicate circumstances at the moment. But if that changes, they might go public with this search. The police will get involved. Each guy will move in earnest. Even the media will start working against us. At that point, there probably won't be any safe place left for us. We're still two isolated individuals struggling against an incomparably stronger opponent. We have no choice but to run, I suppose. Gazing at her slightly downcast face, I finally make up my mind to ask. Actually, I have a question for you. Do you want to confront your father? What? If you've got the will, I might have a way. I've been slowly making preparations ever since we ran away. You're asking me? That's right, we can also run away if that's what you want. If we confront him and lose, we'll be torn apart. But there's risk either way. Yumiko listens to my words quietly and attentively, but as I continue, her gaze slips from mine and begins to fall downward. By the time I've finished, she's staring straight at her feet. I can't make that decision. After a brief pause, she answers in a voice bitter with self-derision. I mean, I haven't grown the slightest. The whole reason we're on the run again is that idiotic phone call I made. Nice to hold down the tears. When you came to save me, that day they took me from the dormitory. I told myself I'd believe in you. That's why I took the hand you offered me. At the very end, when push came to shove, I couldn't do it. I couldn't believe you. How could I ask you for anything when I'm just gonna end up dragging both of us down? You're wrong, Yumiko. You've changed. There's no doubt about it. You tried to make that phone call, but you hung up before you answered, didn't you? Because of that call, those people nearly caught us. Hindsight is 20/20. I'm talking what you're thinking, Yumiko. What was I thinking? Yeah. I remember the day when Yumiko dismissed me. The day she tried to leave my life forever. Refusing to acknowledge her own will, unable to rely on me, she tried to disappear all on her own. That Yumiko would have made the phone call. She would have told her father everything. Believing all the while that she was doing me a favor. You pulled yourself back from the edge, you fought down the fear, and held on to your own free will. And I'm going to stay with you no matter what kind of ending we've got waiting for us. Yumiko throws herself against my chest. Her body slender and light as always, but today I can feel a strength in her that wasn't there before. I don't know in case I accidentally click too fast and pick a choice without actually getting to read them first, because the one choice, one of the few choices you even get in like the fucking 100+ hours of visual novel might be coming up soon. I think there's like a 3 maximum in the main route. I think like 3 like random choices in the main route. I think only one of which, like, actually no, I think like there's like a certain combination of those 3 choices you need to pick to get Tachi's route unlocked. And then after that on the main route is basically just a choice of like which of the 5 girls' routes do you want to go down, and then like after that, like for each of the 5 girls, like a choice between like either a good or a bad ending. And that's it, that's all the choices you get. Everything else is just like strictly linear. I can tell there's a strength in her that wasn't there before. Slowly, she gathers her breath. I just sit there, and finally, I have my answer. Yumiko pulls away and meets my gaze. That's a coincidence, same here. Simultaneously, our faces break into smiles. There's no hint of strain or awkwardness. They're probably the most easy, natural smiles we've had on their faces in a long time. And again, in Yumiko's eyes, I see something like determination. Resignation might still be part of it, but that strength I glimpse in her is real. I absolutely believe that now. Shall we say it together, then? Sounds good. We open our mouths to speak. For a long time, our feelings for each other kept us at cross purposes, but now finally we're standing together, facing the same moment, seeing the same future. If the choice pops up, I think I'm probably just going to end the stream at the choice. Seeing the road wheel travel. Okay, spacebar just makes the Why would I want to make the text disappear? What the fuck am I gonna be reading if I can't even see the text? I'm like, well, there's voice, but not for like Yuji or the narrator speaking. Well, Yuji's the narrator, isn't he? So yeah, there's the choice. Run away together, confront him together. Now, we've been live for like 2 hours at this point. I'm fine with just hanging it up here, and then maybe in part 6 just squeeze in like the outcomes of both those choices. I don't know, I'll probably like flip a coin or roll a die for like the first choice, and then of course after that we do the other one. And then I have no idea, like, of course I'm not gonna like go spoil which is gonna be like the choice to give us like the happier ending. I mean, I'm guessing running away like won't work forever, so I'm guessing the confronting him is gonna be like the better outcome, but I could be dead wrong on this. I mean, we're talking about a guy who basically doesn't like see like Yumiko as, I don't know, a human being even, so yeah, yucky. Yeah, just for the record, just confirm I have. Yeah, I have, in fact, saved at this choice. So, maybe tomorrow I'll be back live with, I guess, maybe the last Yumiko route, unless both the choices somehow take, like, another, like, hour or two to go through both of them.